South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
In the chaotic town of Dolton, Mayor Tiffany Henyard's reign has spiraled into a whirlwind of scandal and controversy. From an eviction lawsuit to extravagant spending with public funds, residents are left wondering, is Henyard losing control, or is something more sinister at play? As she teases a shocking announcement that could lead to arrests, the pressure mounts. With federal investigations looming and her support dwindling, will Henyard's defiance spell her downfall? This saga raises a critical question. Can she withstand the storm? Or is this the beginning of the end for her tumultuous leadership? Hey guys, I am Olivia. Welcome to Red Rumbles. Today, we're uncovering the explosive saga surrounding Dolton's self-proclaimed super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. This political storm has left residents bewildered and critics on high alert. With allegations of lavish spending, eviction lawsuits, and rumors of an FBI investigation swirling around her, the question looms: has Henyard lost control, or is there a more sinister game at play? Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned as we navigate through this chaotic tale that could change the future of Dolton forever. In Dolton, Mayor Tiffany Henyard isn't just the mayor, she's also the supervisor of Thornton Township. Holding two high-profile positions in the same community gives her a significant level of power and influence. But as the scandals surrounding her intensify, many residents are questioning whether this combination of roles has allowed her to cross lines in ways that aren't just controversial, but potentially unethical.
Tiffany Henyard making a late appearance at the Dolton Village Board meeting this evening. That meeting was being held at the Park District building since Village Hall cannot legally accommodate the crowds at a typical meeting.
From approving budgets to managing resources, Henyard has access to financial avenues and public resources unlike any other figure in the region. But her dual positions may also be part of the reason that some of her alleged misconduct has flown under the radar for so long. This concentration of power is raising questions about accountability, especially with recent revelations painting a troubling picture of her leadership style. As Dolton's budget deficit grows, Henyard's spending habits have caught the community's attention, and not in a good way. Documents suggest she's been using public funds for luxurious accommodations at the Four Seasons in Atlanta, high-end restaurants, and more.
A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her.
All told, Henyard's reported expenses from taxpayer funds exceed tens of thousands of dollars, with much of it going toward her personal travel and luxury experiences. When questioned, Henyard's team defended these expenses, claiming they were aimed at fostering business relationships and boosting Dolton's profile. However, the public sees this differently. Residents are starting to voice their frustration, pointing out the contrast between Henyard's spending and the reality of Dolton's financial issues. Struggling to provide basic public services and essential infrastructure, the town is facing a crisis that's only worsened by what many see as unnecessary and wasteful expenditures. While she earns over $280,000 annually from her public roles, Henyard is reportedly facing an eviction lawsuit for unpaid rent. This lawsuit comes from her former friend and landlord, Jenna Tull, who claims Henyard hasn't paid rent since August. Shocked and disappointed, Tull said she had trusted Henyard with her property, never anticipating the ongoing struggle just to get paid. To make matters worse, Tull claims Henyard changed the locks on the property, effectively blocking her from access. For Tull, this isn't just about the unpaid rent, but also a matter of principle. She feels betrayed by a person she once supported, and sees Henyard's behavior as emblematic of a leader who takes from the community without giving back. This ongoing legal battle is becoming emblematic of Henyard's strained relationships, even with those once loyal to her. When Henyard took office, many Dolton residents hoped she'd bring positive change. But now, Frustration is mounting as residents witness a mayor who seems more interested in high-end dinners and luxury travel than addressing local issues. Public infrastructure continues to deteriorate, and as community services suffer, residents are left questioning why their tax dollars are going to fund Henyard's lifestyle rather than to critical town needs. Local business owners are particularly vocal. They argue that Henyard's tenure has done little to foster growth or opportunity in Dolton. Instead, they allege she has strong-armed some into making campaign contributions, with threats of inspections or other pressures when they didn't comply. For many, this paints a troubling picture of an administration that prioritizes loyalty and control over transparency and service. One of the most alarming accusations leveled against Henyard involves her alleged use of the local police force as a personal security detail. According to reports, she's used officers to monitor or even intimidate critics, reinforcing her authority in a way that borders on authoritarianism. These claims are unsettling to many Dolton residents, who question why their taxpayer-funded police force is seemingly acting on the mayor's personal orders rather than serving the broader community. Such actions have fostered a climate of fear among residents and business owners. Those who speak out risk being targeted or, at the very least, feeling the pressure to stay silent. This alleged misuse of police resources is only adding to the frustration and mistrust among those who feel Henyard's priorities lie more with consolidating her power than addressing public safety concerns. With so many accusations swirling, it was only a matter of time before Henyard's actions caught the attention of federal authorities. The FBI is reportedly investigating her handling of public funds, focusing on whether she's misused taxpayer dollars for personal gain. While the exact details of the investigation remain under wraps, sources suggest it's tied to her extravagant spending and possible conflicts of interest in awarding public contracts. For Dolton residents, this development feels long overdue. Many see it as a necessary step toward accountability, especially in light of the town's worsening financial struggles. If the FBI's investigation confirms the suspicions, Henyard could face serious legal repercussions, adding yet another layer of complexity to her already fraught political career. Aside from her spending and personal controversies, Henyard is facing scrutiny over how public contracts are awarded. Reports suggest that contracts have often gone to close allies or campaign donors, raising questions about fairness and transparency. These alleged practices have angered community members who say that such favoritism creates a closed club atmosphere where only those with connections have access to lucrative opportunities. This alleged cronyism is deepening divisions within the town. Residents argue that these practices don't just harm the community economically, they also undermine trust in local governance. With her closest allies benefiting from public funds, Henyard's critics say she's effectively using taxpayer money to solidify her own support base, creating a web of dependencies that further shields her from accountability. Even within her own circle, Henyard's leadership is facing resistance. Trustee Stan Brown recently discovered that he was listed as a plaintiff in a lawsuit connected to Henyard without his consent. In response, Brown publicly distanced himself from the mayor, expressing shock and frustration over the unauthorized use of his name. This incident highlights the growing rift among Henyard's former allies, many of whom are now speaking out against her. As her support network weakens, Henyard is finding it harder to maintain control, with more and more people willing to question her decisions and actions. For a leader who once commanded loyalty, this loss of support is a sign of shifting tides, and it raises questions about how much longer she can hold onto her position. The public outcry against Henyard is reaching a tipping point, with many residents calling for immediate action. On social media, locals have openly expressed their frustrations, accusing her of abusing power and prioritizing self-interest over the town's well-being. Comments flood in, with some urging federal authorities to intervene and others calling for her resignation. Community meetings are increasingly tense, with residents voicing their anger and disappointment directly to town officials. This vocal demand for change is a clear signal that Dolton's patience is wearing thin, and the community is ready for a leader who puts them first. With her approval ratings plummeting and opposition mounting, Henyard's future as mayor looks increasingly uncertain. With elections on the horizon, an opposition force is emerging in Dolton. Trustee Jason House, a vocal critic of Henyard, has announced his candidacy for mayor, positioning himself as a leader committed to restoring order and integrity to Dolton's government. House has teamed up with a group known as the Clean House Slate, a collective of candidates determined to address the alleged corruption that has marked Henyard's administration. For Dolton residents, the Clean House Slate represents a fresh start. House and his team are pledging to prioritize transparency, community service, and fiscal responsibility, in stark contrast to Henyard's controversial tenure. As Election Day approaches, the choice before Dolton's citizens is clear: continue with Henyard's divisive leadership, or rally behind House's promise of reform. As Dolton heads toward a potentially transformative election, the stakes couldn't be higher. For residents, the scandals surrounding Henyard are more than just news. They're a reminder of the need for accountability in local government. The town is ready for change, and Henyard's actions may finally push voters to make that happen. In the coming months, Dolton will face a defining moment. Whether Henyard can hold on to her power, or if her opponents can bring about a new era, remains to be seen. With so much at stake, the citizens of Dolton are watching closely, hopeful that their voices will shape the town's future. Thank you for tuning in to Red Rumbles. If you found this story as captivating as we did, don't forget to hit subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments in this and other major stories. Share your thoughts below on what you think Dolton should do next. Until next time, stay informed and engaged.